All right, good afternoon, everyone. I got some kind of uplifting Christmas stories. These are delightful Christmas stories from our readers, are sure to help you embrace the spirit of the season. Heartwarming Christmas stories, the magic of Christmas is about so much more than presents under the tree or festival holiday songs. It is a season filled with heartwarming Christmas stories, some you've seen brought to life in your favorite Christmas movies, and others that unfold quietly in real life. Here are we're sharing true Christmas stories from real people. Each one is moving, uplifting, and reminding of what the Holy Spirit is truly about. So, if you were searching for a little holiday spirit this season and don't mind shredding a few joyful tears, keep reading for some of the most touching Christmas stories ever told. Reader Digest did some stories from heartwarming stories for the holiday, tips and fun and humor and cleaning, traveling and tech all the way. First Christmas story. Tis bitter. To, tis the better to give. I know it was not supposed to be quite so excited. I was told I was too old for what at age 11, the oldest of my mom's growing up girl. I had to keep my cool. I was in the middle school after all, but every chance I got, when I was alone, I checked each present under the tree. I read every tag and felt every package, guessing what is the content within. I had extreme examine each gift so often that I could tell which presents went to which person without even looking at the tag. It had been a tough year for my family. Whenever my mom looked over at the tree and scattered presents, she would sigh and warn us there won't be as much for Christmas this year. Try not to be disappointed. The Christmas had traditionally been a time for my parents to spoil us. In the years past, the presents would pile up and spoil, spill over the edge of the tree, taking over the living room. I had heard the phrase giving a better than receiving, but though that whoever had said that must have been out of their mind. Getting presents was the whole point. It was the reason I couldn't get to sleep on Christmas Eve. On Christmas morning, we eagerly waited in the hallway until Dad told us everyone was ready. We rushed into the living room and let the wrapping paper fly. We made weak attempts to wait and watch while other family members opened theirs present, but as the time passes, we lost self control. Here's another one for you, said Mom as she handed me the package. I looked at it, confused. Having spent so much time examining the presents before Christmas, I recognized this one, but it had not been mine. It was my mom's. A new label had been put on it, with my name written in my mom's handwriting. Mom, I can't. I was stopped by my mom's eager and joyful look. A look I couldn't really understand. Let's see what it is, honey. Here's an open. Here, hurry, open it. It was a blow dryer. Though this may seem but a simple gift to me, it was so much more. Being an 11-year-old girl, I was stunning in the world where receiving outweighed giving by light years. My mom's act selflessness was incomprehensible. It was a huge act. Tears filled my eyes, and I though in disbelief about how much my mom must love me to give her Christmas so I could have a few more presents. I've always remembered the Christmas fond. It had such impact on me as adult with the children in my life whom I adore. I can now understand my mom's action. I see how she was not giving up her Christmas as I had thought, but was finding even greater joy in Christmas because giving truly is a better thing receiving. My mom's simply act meant the world to me. All right. Second Christmas. Mysterious gift. My husband was has dementia for almost a decade. He was almost not short-term memory. He can no longer read, use a phone, or use a credit card. 6 years ago, when the Christmas catalog came, I saw a tablecloth I wanted, but it was sold out on Christmas morning. There was an unwrapped box underneath the Christmas tree. Somehow, my husband had found the right catalog, the right tablecloth, called them, and convinced them to find a tablecloth to send in time for Christmas. I won't ever know how he did it, but it was the best Christmas ever. The Christmas spirit strikes again. I always dream of pulling off the surprise prank of a lifetime. You know, the kind you've seen on TV or laughed about late at night with friends. Well, thank you to a little determination, some luck, and a generous help of Christmas spirit. My dream became a reality. My family is Canadian, although my sister moved to Australia a few years ago to study speech pathology. She was graduating before Christmas, but due to my own scholar schedule back home, I would be able to make it down in time for her graduation. She was understandable, disappointed, and I felt guilty that I wasn't able to be there for her on her most special occasion. While I was talking to my supervisor the week before my sister's graduation, the conversation drifted towards Christmas plans. When I mentioned that I would be missing my sister's graduation by less than 48 hours, she she commented, "Well, if you want to go, I have no problem with it. So go ahead." I couldn't believe my luck. I nearly jumped for joy. Just make sure you get permission for the admin, she added. My heart sank. The administration at my school was notorious of denying any sort of time off request, and last minute pleas would undoubtedly draw nothing but a strain. I almost didn't bother asking because I know it would be a waste of time, and I didn't feel like, though, chastisement, chastisement, chastisement. Plus, I know the answer already, no, but something inside to try, just in case. Maybe it was the hope that Christmas spirit would somehow permit me permit the admin office at this year of time. When I returned home to find associate Dan's reply in the mailbox, I steel myself for disappointment. I grit my teeth, opened the email, and started to read and reread and reread just to make sure I understand approval. I couldn't actually go rub my eyes. There must be a mistake. But no, I was flabbergasted. There was no logical explanation. I couldn't believe my luck. The only explanation could be possible come up with was the Christmas spirit had been lurking in the heart of my associate Dean when she read the request. Immediately, I called the airlines. Miracle, even during the Christmas season, I was able to change my ticket to arrive the day before my sister's graduation. With the news this fantastic, I was bursting to tell my sister, but fingers on the dial, I paused. Wouldn't it be so much more fantastic if I could surprise her? I pictured myself just showing up, knocking at the door. What a state of shock she would be in. Laugh, gleeful to myself as I picture her face. When she opened the door, I saw me. She loved the prank and practical jokes of all sorts. Pulling off a prank like this would certainly be the ultimate gift. And if I understand stressful, she'd probably be more excited about my unconventional arrival than even my attendance at her graduation. Slowly, the idea evolved in my mind for a surprise of the graduation scale. I needed much more dramatic arrival than just ringing the doorbell. For me, Christmas surprises are epical by presents, or at least boxes. What if I could arrive in a box? Started to plot, then brilliantly struck. Getting delivered in a box to my sister's house by courier. I knew if I pulled this off, my presence at the graduation and her grand arrival, would be the best Christmas presents I could ever give my sister. No one appreciate a prank like a prankster. Although I was leaving in less than 72 hours, fran- uh, frantically jumped on my computer in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, and started googling uh, carrier companies. One of the first I came across, and only one willing to go along with my Christmas surprise, was a carrier. Please. At first, the branch manager said no, pointing out that Christmas was their busiest season and couldn't spare a carrier for this rather unorthodox request. But he suddenly, expendable, warmed up to the idea, actually volunteered to dress up and deliver me himself. The Christmas spirit strikes again. Upon arrival in Australia, the manager met me in full uniform. But that wasn't all. He brought one of his carriers, plus the carrier please van, along for the ride as well. They even had a reinforced box prepared for me that they already tested at the office. I thought it would be the easiest to walk up the door and jump out the box while they rang the doorbell. But no, they insist my sister might see me though the window, and they certainly didn't want to jeopardize my Christmas surprise. Instead, they parked a few hundred meters up the street where they load me in a box and carry me all the way up to my sister's, where they rang the doorbell and announced they had a delivery for her. I couldn't see the look on my sister's face as she opened the door of the carrier with a surprise delivery, but I couldn't tell from her voice that she was more than a little perplexed. This soon multiplied into utter disbelief and shock when the box was opened and she saw her older sister sitting inside, smiling up at her. She was at complete loss of words, and I will never forget the look on her face as she opened those flaps on the box. It was such a gift to be able to attend my sister's graduation and to show her my love by giving her the most unique, unconventional Christmas present in the history of our family. It was a memory both she and I will cherish forever. It was also served as a lesson for me. Never ever underestimate the power of Christmas spirit. It can move hearts, minds, and yes, even people and boxes. All right, number 4, Father's blessing. My stepfather, Mer- Merlin, brought a uh, bought, brought a dancing Christmas tree in the mid 2000 as a gimmick decoration. Merlin passed away in 2014. My sister Stacy had taken possession of it along the way. Stacy got engaged to her long-time boyfriend in Thanksgiving night. Merlin had met him. The tree was unpacked but had no batteries. Later that evening, with all the ladies sitting around talking, the tree lit up and started dancing. The empty battery pack was in hand, and the only conclusion we could reach was Merlin was sending his blessing in a dancing jig. Sharing the legacy of love. When my mother died at the age of 84, and my 4 sisters, I was heartbroken. How could we ever get over the loss of this warm and loving woman and talent artist who enjoyed life in spite of challenges all the way, dotted on her husband, daughters, and granddaughters? For weeks after, my sister and I would meet for dinner, laughing, crying over old memories. When it comes to time to sell the home my mother loved, went spent many days in disbelief, clearing out her belongings. I remember reading and Landers column years earlier and discussed how many siblings fight bitterly over a possession left by their deceased parents. I thought how lucky we are that will never happen to us. Somehow we're easily and peaceful, divided mom uh, belongings, furniture, jewelry, and household items among ourselves. A few charities, although I expected there might be a tug of war over her paintings. That never happened. Pretty good consideration there were 5 daughters and 4 grandchildren. No complex, no squabble, no dispute at all. Until we discover an old nativity set in a box in mom's closet. I remember mom telling the story of how she required the manger. An old friend who did carpentry work gave it to my mom and dad as a Christmas gift. When they first married, my sister Ellen, however, remember it differently. My mom told her she found the in the garbage can belonging to Miss Brigham, the elderly lady who lived across the street from us. Unlikely, some ornaments uh, version found in today's story, the manger was crafted from a dark wood completely unadorned, just a roof, a floor, and a railing surrounding it. Though beautiful crafted, there was a flaw. One side of the double gate in front was lopsided. My mom filled in filled it in with 3 figures to start Mary, Joseph, and baby Jesus for many years after she continued to add others, the wise men, shepherd, angel, and animals. And as kids, we love the annual ritual of Christmas season, especially taking the nativity set and decorations down from the attic and carefully putting them in the place when the sister, all married, and the grandchildren came along. They added new characters of their own to the stable, including the set of 3 little pigs. After my mom's death, when the nativity set emerged, no one was prepared for the battle that would follow. My sister Joanne was the first to claim the manger, insisting it was the only one thing mom possession that she really wanted. Her wish was granted, but when my niece Mandy found out, she called from her apartment in California to voice her objection. She was clearly emotional as she repeat as a decades old promise made to her by my mom. Nanny promised me that I could have that nativity set when she was gone. She cried. The nativity set belongs to me. Joanne felt strongly that as mom's daughter, she had the first dibs. Nor neither she or nor Manny would budge. When the disagreement showed signs of becoming a full-blown family feud, we realized something had to be done. Enter the family arbitrator, my sister Ellen, who somehow saw through the fog. But as Mandy's mother, Joanne's sister, could Ellen handle this dilemma fairly? Well, temporarily she set aside emotional of despite. Although logical, the nativity set was just a wooden stable, not an irreplaceable masterpiece of art. The beauty was in the eye of the beholder. The perception of 2 people who covet a simple item owned by someone they loved couldn't a copy be created of the course, she would order the wood from the lumber yard and get someone to build a second manger. Following day, Alan went to center millwork and stood in line behind several contractors ordering lumber from a young man with a crew cut. He was wearing a tag with his name Brett written in green magic marker. When Alan turned came she had to shout over the sound of buzzing saws. She pointed to me pointing the nativity set on his arm and his daughter Mindy and no on his arm and told him the story, explaining that it was caused a major rift between her sister Joanne and her daughter Mindy. Brett took the stable from her, held it up with one hand, and laughed. They're fighting over this. Yes, Ellen explained. I know it seems crazy, but it was my mother, and they both love her very much. Is there any way you could measure and cut some wood so we can have a duplicate built? Brett said, leave it there. Leave it here. I'll see what I can do. Ellen left, hoping he could come up with a miracle. That that's what it would take. A satisfying that two women in her life that were squabbling. A few days later, she receives a phone call message saying that her order was ready. When Ellen arrived at the hardware store to pick up the wood, she couldn't believe what she saw. Two identical stables sitting side by side. Brett had not only cut and measured in the wood, he had built a second manger. I know you wanted them to look the same, so I added a couple of dings and flaws that were in originally. Hope that's okay. Sure enough, the new stable had the same lopsided front gate. Okay, Alan said in the tears, you have no idea what this will mean to my sister and my daughter. To the entire family, I don't care what this cost. Your work has saved us the day. That will be $3.75 for the materials, Brett said. When Alan insists to pay him more, he said, I didn't do it on a company time. I built it at home so I wouldn't charge you for the labor. He pointed the new manger. I hope this helps your family have a Merry Christmas. Alan left Brett with a large tip and a big hug of thanks. When she got home and called Joanne and Mandy about her creative solution, they were very happy, extremely relieved that the problem was resolved. One phone call later, Joanne and Mandy had agreed that Joanne would take possession of the new one as well as of the old figures, including Mary, Joseph, and the infant. Mandy would get to keep the original, just as Nanny promised. Well, that's about it. I appreciate you all coming, and I'll talk to you guys all later. And happy holidays. Merry Christmas.